Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome back in to Venting with Us with your girl, Crystal. I hope everyone had a phenomenal week. It goes so quickly, and happy Memorial Weekend. Yes, I hope you guys had a great one. Um, Definitely relaxed, had a great weekend. I love those 3-day weekends. They just make you energized, right? I love it so much. So in the meantime, while we did take a little hiatus, I have found of course, I'm always trying to figure out different snacks because I'm a snacky, right? And I found these popcorn. It's Brim's kettle corn, sweet and salty, right? So I have to tell you the story. So I'm here minding my business, right? And enjoying this, which these aren't completely like not my favorite. It does have that sweet and salty to it, but it's probably something that I probably won't get again. But I will say I also had Brim's popcorn theater, and that one tasted like I was at the actual movie theater. I was very happy about that. I was like, "Oh my god, that's like the closest thing to like popcorn theater without actually having to pay the $20 million for popcorn because popcorn is expensive." Mm, a little grape juice, which is always my favorite. I love me some grape juice. Grape juice is the one that I buy though is very expensive. It's about $4. Um, but I love it. Um, it's Kadeem, just in case if you guys want to know. They sell it at Stop and Shop. It's Kadeem grape juice. I love it. And I know they have Welchers and all this, but this particular grape juice, there's just something about it, which is why I also love the apple juice so much. Oh, it just tastes so good. It hits that spot. It's like, so good. Now, I don't know if I told you guys also, FYI, I stumbled upon The Walking Dead. And I know, again, late to the party, which I think I did tell you guys this. What season? I'm in season 8 right now, and everybody's just all fucked up right now in the show. I have to say, though I prefer watching it like this because I love binging through all of the series and then I don't have to wait from week to week to week to week to week, which I'm kind of doing that right now with a few of my shows. I'm just kind of letting them build up so that way I can just binge watch them. And I normally don't do that, but I do love just kind of watching it back to back to back. But this show, every time I think that I have gotten used to not being scared because I know how the scene is going to lead up, I am constantly like, no, it's like it's such a great show. So if you guys haven't seen it and you're someone like me that was kind of just like out of the loop and interested in watching it, you can watch. They do have which I had no clue that it was The Walking Dead, and then it's Fear of the Walking Dead, and then it's Dixon, Daryl's, which I think I would have probably been like his girlfriend. I'm telling you right now. Um, something about him is like the attraction is there. But now then they also have that spin-off show. There's just so much. So it's like a lot of catching up to do. But I'm on season 8, episode 7 right now. So the tigers died. A lot of people have died. It's a little crazy. So, but if you want to watch it, it's on Netflix right now, the whole series. From soup to nuts. So today's episode, I was gonna speak about the documentary The Crash, but I'm gonna do that next week because I really didn't get a chance this week to watch it and actually take notes on it. Though I do know the story and it's such a fucked up story, but I wanted to really like really baby it and really take in more details because sometimes what you see a documentary on Hulu and they put it on Netflix and it's very different because they add different stories that we didn't know that maybe Hulu couldn't fit into their documentary. So I really wanted to sit down and actually watch it in full. And it's almost 2 hours. Like, why is it 2 hours? Did I complain to you guys about the movies? Now they're making all these movies 2 hours, 3 hours. Like, I don't have the attention span to watch all these movies like this. Like, I need just hour movies again. But I think also because I'm so busy. But I still no, because when I was trying to watch Mission Impossible, that shit was 3 hours. I still haven't fully watched. I keep watching in spurts. But anyways, let's get back into this episode, which is Betrayal, Later Days Lies. This story is another I'm kind of going back into where women have to be smarter when it comes to finances. People, come on. I really need you to like stay with me, focus, grab the rope. But I get it. You start living in this lifestyle and you really want to believe that the knight in shining prince is there and he's rescuing you and you can live so free and calm, you know so this story takes place about a woman named Andrea who fell in love head over heels with the man of her dreams. He would give her everything that you could imagine, to houses, to children, to marriage, to cars, to travel life, everything. She had the whole entire package, or at least she thought she had the whole entire package. So Andrea met Sean, and Andrea at this time was working for an apartment complex. And, this is a job that I would love to have because then you don't have to pay for rent. You don't have to deal with like working in like a 55 and over like apartment complex, because then you don't really have to deal with too much. They say that in the other complexes, then you're in charge of like all the emergency shit. But if you do it for the 55, nobody's calling you. It's good. It's good. So she was working at in one of the offices at this apartment complex. She met Sean there because Sean actually lived in the apartment complex. And every time he would turn in his rent money, they would have conversations. She thought he was funny. She thought he was cute. They both shared, here we go. They both shared a similarity to the church. They were both Mormon. What did I just tell you guys? This is starting to become a pattern. I'm telling you. The only thing is that in this story, there is no Home Depot involved in this. So we're good. Nobody like dies. so, so she loved that about him. Sean did everything and that he possibly could do for Andrea. If Andrea wanted to fly to Taiwan, he made that come true. If Andrea wanted to go to a concert, he had that happen. If Andrea wanted to drive a certain car, he made that happen. Like, there was nothing that Sean would do to meet all those expectations that Andrea wanted. She really thought that she, like, not only did she kiss that frog, but she made out with that frog. She gave that frog a little bit of tongue, like, ah, it was like, it was all in there with this frog. She thought she hit the jackpot. She was at the end of that rainbow. She found the pot of gold. Like, everything couldn't have been more better in her life than when she met with Sean. So they end up falling in love and they get married. Soon they move over to Colorado. Again, Colorado, hot and spicy, man, hot and spicy. A lot of shit happens in Colorado. So, um, Sean ended up working as an investment broker. I'm telling you, I may not. If I'm telling you, if I meet somebody, he's like, I'm an investment broker. I'm like, we can't date. You guys are shady. Like you try to get you caught and go to the FBI, and I don't look good in orange. I'm sorry to tell you right now. So, um, he was doing very well though as an investment broker. He was able to give Andrea a even better lifestyle than what she could even imagine. She was a stay-at-home mom. They ended up having 4 kids together. They traveled so much. It was the one thing on Andrea's bucket list that she wanted to do, not only for herself, but when she had kids, was to travel, 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 travel. And one day, Sean goes to Andrea. He's like, you know what? I'm doing so well that I'm going to open up my own uh, financial business, and I'm going to invest into having my own firm. And Andrew was like, wow, you're making it, you're doing it. Yeah, daddy, go. Okay. She was really on board with him. He was doing so well. Um, Now Sean started his business was doing good. His firm, his investment firm was doing very, very well. It was to the point where they were traveling more than him working. He started becoming very obsessed with hunting and collecting animals. This part of the story hurt me because he had animals' heads on his wall, like elephants and giraffe, like anything that he can hunt with the wealth. So that, and he would say, he would tell Andrea, this is when he stopped traveling so much with her. Now he was traveling by himself. And he was, he would tell Andrew, he's like, I just came back with this and it was worth it because I got these investors and they are multi-million dollar, people in the fields. And we're really, we're really doing things up. And, she was like, okay, all right, daddy, go ahead, you do your thing. All right. um he ends up buying a a a huge house. It was the biggest house on the whole entire street. He This is what I'm saying. Like I'm telling you, I'm gonna be a bad girlfriend here. I'm gonna be a bad girlfriend. He ends up building this house. It's 3-story house. On the back lot of the house now is his office. Men always like do the wrong things. So now he has his office in there, but this is not just your normal picture ideal, office. This office was so big that he had 10 cars in there. He had a section for 10 cars. He had a section for all his animals. He had a section for a game room. Like it was huge. That's how big this was. Many people were like, wow, they are wealthy, like these people are like wealth upon wealth upon wealth with how big of a lifestyle and a lavish lifestyle that they were living. So she thought, that this was just that she had her kids playing piano and having tutors come in. Like these are the things that you dream of, that you don't ever have to worry about anything. All of a sudden, Sean, one day for Christmas, they would have these big, huge Christmases. And he says to Andrea, he's like, what can I give you for Christmas? Andrea, I have to say, she was very, 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 very smart on this part of it. She said, you know what, Sean, we have so much. There is really nothing that I can think of that you can give me. But the one thing that I would want for Christmas is I want this house paid off. So that way we don't ever have to worry about anything. Go, Andrea. Go, Andrea. Right? Very good. That's good thinking, girl. That's good thinking. Now, let me tell you something. Andrea turns out to be a badass at the end of this story. Again, if you want to watch this documentary, it is on Hulu. It's called Betrayal, Later Days Lies. So Sean says, all right, baby, I got you. No worries. He pays off the house. He tells Andrew, I paid off the house. The house is ours. Everything is good. And he starts traveling more. And Andrew is like, you're traveling a lot. There's now you're spending more time now when you do get back in the man cave. She's like, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. I have this lavish lifestyle. What am I complaining about? Money's coming in. I zip, zip, zippity doo da, zippity yay. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to muddle the waters. So Sean goes on this safari trip, right? And he comes back and he's cut up and he tells Andrea this wild story about how one of the guys that he was with, they almost fell off a cliff and he had to save them, and that's how he got cut, and he was in such a rush to get checked out and get tested to make sure that he was okay. But Andrea says this story don't make sense because none of these things ever happen like when we're together or when we travel together. And for you to want to get tested and have all these tests done on you right away, she starts assuming that her man is not being honest at all. She thinks that there's more going on, but because she has no proof, she's really not going to mud the waters, is what they say, right? So they continue going forward. Now, Sean does what people at this point do in time to get more investments. He goes to people from his church. He goes to people from his country club. Because anytime you come with some money, you're about to join a country club. you know. They start investing with Sean. The word gets out that he's doing very, very well, that money is coming in, and people are like, wow, and they're investing about $1,500, $2,000 with Sean with their money. Some of these people invested money that they inherited, their retirement money. These always make me so sad because, especially with the retirement, that's something that they've worked so hard over the years, and they're not going to go back to work, but in order to continue, and you want to do something with your money, but you don't think that anything bad is going to happen with someone that you trust. Oh, sorry guys, it's a little parched. So now he has all of these people investing. His business is blooming. It's the best that it could all be. And in 2008, this is when everything shifts. The economy drops. Wall Street is losing money. Everybody in the stock market is losing money. There was a party that was happening in the town, and people started asking questions, like, hey, the stock market is tanking, and but somehow Sean is still making money. I think we should pull out at this point, because I don't want to lose more money. And one of the people, which was the head of the church, was like, no, you're crazy. Sean is doing so good with our money. He's not doing anything wrong. I wouldn't even bother with it. Just keep going forward. And they were just like, okay, this sounds maybe legit. Sean is still making money. So some people were nervous about it, but because they, you know, really liked Sean, they loved his personality, they really trusted him, they ended up staying with Sean. Now, Wall Street is a disaster now. It's just falling. Everything is dropping. In March of 2009, the shit hits the fan. There is nowhere else for Sean to go. So Sean comes home. He's like, Andrea, we need to talk. I got some explaining to do. She's like, oh God, what is happening now? So he says to her, and I swear, if you see what Sean looks like, you have more of an image and why it's more comical when like me doing it the way I'm doing it. But Sean tells Andrea, he's like, babe, I got something to tell you. I've been living a secret life. And I swear I could hear the like a whole novella skit, right? And she was like, what? He's like, yeah, I've been running a Ponzi scheme. He was running the biggest Ponzi scheme. For those that know about Wall Street, during that time was the most famous Bernie Madoff. Okay. And everybody had known what Bernie Madoff had did and the amount of money. It's still today in history the biggest Ponzi scheme ever to be committed. But Sean he had created a Ponzi scheme. And, you know, this is the funny part where this took me left because Andrea was not your typical housewife of like, oh baby, it's gonna be okay. He was like, they called the kids in, right? And I can only imagine how this whole setup is, right? Because she's probably like, mm-hmm, your father got something to tell you right now, okay? Mm, go ahead. Go ahead, Sean. Tell your kids what you did. Tell your kids how you're broke and you're about to shit about to get real. It's like so Sean is there. He's talking to the kids and he's like, kids, I have to tell you something. All right. So your dad made a mistake and he stole a small amount of money. And here comes Andrea, because I would have done the same thing. He said, your dad sold a small amount of money, $20 million. He's like, okay. He's like, so, and I'm going to be going away for a little while for 20 years. My business was not so great. It was a poly scheme. Like, what? You are a thug, Andrea. You are a thug. Like, I think, like, seriously, that's exactly how she said it in the documentary, where he was trying to sugarcoat that, and she was just like, 20 years. Yep, $20 million. like, like, be honest, like, guy, like, seriously, I'm gonna need you to be a little bit more honest than this. Now, kids are heartbroken. The feds show up at the house. They start going through the house, and she's so embarrassed. She doesn't know what to say to these neighbors. He took so much money from all these people. And now, you know, everybody knows that when you play with other people's money and you don't repay money back, people will get crazy on you. They will try and kill you. And unfortunately, that's what had happened one night. A neighbor had invested millions with Sean, and he showed up to the house with a gun. He was ready to kill everybody in the house because he had lost everything, literally had lost everything. So Sean ends up going to jail. he goes in for the Ponzi scheme. He's still in jail. Andrea is ends up, just starting her life over. She had good friends around her, thank God, that helped her with everything, and get another house, and helped her with supporting her kids. Not like poor Libby, she was like, that's it. She was like thrust into the desert on her own. But the the way this ended though was so cute because Andrea ended up years later meeting her first true love, and they rekindled their relationship, and she ended up getting married with him. And she's like, you know what? Out of everything that Sean gave me, all the money, all the glitz, all the glamour, all of the travel and everything, and I was so grateful for it. Um, but what my new husband is giving me is love. And that's the most important at the end of the day. So I thought after all of that, that was such a good like fairy tale ending to that. So this is where it ends, guys. Where time is up. It goes so fast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, if you know anybody that if you love the show, definitely recommend the show to somebody. Keep those followers going. Next week we will be doing The Crash. This is the infamous story about the girl who killed her boyfriend and was psycho killer. Psycho killer. So we will be talking about that next week. And then I also have another documentary that after that we're going to be talking about. What is his name? Oh God, the fitness guru. I can't think of his name right now. I hate that. Um, Jesus. All right. Well, you know what? Next week's episode, I'll be more prepared for it because I kind of like fell into it when I was about to get into this. But I love you guys. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Another phenomenal weekend. Rest up. And we will see. I'll be back next week. Love you guys. Bye.